But let's get into our next topic because it's very interesting. Brock Purdy, his surgery for his UCL was actually postponed due to inflammation. So we're looking at potentially, a couple weeks from now, a month or so from now, until Brock Purdy actually gets it healed or gets surgery on it and then starts the healing process, which I believe it's reported, 6 to 8 months around that portion of it.
Really? That long to heal that?
He should, supposedly he should be good to go by, I believe it was camp originally because he was supposed to have surgery on it, 2-3 days ago. So we're looking at potentially start of opening, like the week 1 or maybe, third preseason game. Who knows? But, then the conversation gets started because Trey Lance is still recovering from his injury. Brock Purdy needs to start recovering from his surgery that he's going to get in, a couple weeks, a month, who knows? So do you think the 49ers should go back to Jimmy G as their option for the quarterback position?
They're probably considering it, but I'm not sure Jimmy G will want to go that route. He's in the driver's seat. He's a free agent.
Yeah.
Right? He can go listen to all the deals.
Correct.
I think his landing spot is the Raiders.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Josh McDaniel knows him, and I think he probably had some respect for him. He knows his system. So I think that Jimmy G's good chance he's going to land there.
Okay. Very interesting because I really thought you were going to say, yeah, sure, bring him back,
Well, they may want to. He may not want to.
Right.
I mean, he will. He's going to be a starter anywhere else he goes. If he
I would say,
at San Francisco, he might be third string. Right? He has a potential of being third string.
I don't know about that one.
What do you mean? Trey Lance and Purdy ahead of him. I mean, they started Trey Lance until he got hurt. It was only
for
second
a game. Second game, I think third throw or something like that. He got hurt.
That was a shame for him.
I mean,
I wonder how he's recovering.
I haven't heard much about it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I'm going to agree with you. The 49ers, I don't think they should try. Because Kyle Shanahan literally was asked at the end of the year, is there any situation where Jimmy G comes back? He said, no chance. 0. But the funny part about it is, Jimmy G said his goodbyes last offseason. And Kyle Shanahan said, no, he's not a part of our future. Trey Lance is the guy. It's Trey Lance's team now. Lo and behold, Jimmy G takes a pay cut, comes back. Trey Lance ends up getting hurt. Jimmy G begins what was an incredible run for the 49ers. Yeah. Brock Purdy finished it up.
How much money did they pay Jimmy G this past year?
I'm not sure, but according to reports that came out today, Jimmy G's looking between a multi-year deal, 25 to 30, or was it? Yeah, $25 to $30 million.
That's a deal for him.
I would agree with you. But it's just a question mark of, here's the thing, right? The one huge knock on Jimmy G and why the 49ers decided to, draft Trey Lance at all was Jimmy G cannot stay healthy. It's not, he overthrows receivers, he underthrows receivers, he doesn't. No, that's not why. No, because that's not what Kyle Shanahan's offense needs. A guy who runs out of the pocket and becomes, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson on his runs, or has the arm strength of a Josh Allen or a Patrick Mahomes. It's just, can you get it to the guys that are wide open? And we take a look at what Jimmy G has done throughout his tenure with the 49ers and what Kyle Shanahan, the great success he had with Jimmy G. There's no, oh my God, no, look, it's not, but yeah, Jimmy G this, Jimmy G that. No, the proof is there. Kyle Shanahan has won a significant amount of games with Jimmy G, and the comparison is night and day between with and without Jimmy G. Kyle Shanahan wins significantly more with Jimmy Garoppolo than without him. Because guess what? His offense doesn't require a super mobile quarterback or a guy with, Herculean arm strength. That's not what his offense requires. Yeah. So the Jimmy G was a beautiful fit there. But now, the one reason why they drafted Trey Lance was Jimmy G cannot stay healthy. It wasn't his playoff performance or his regular season performance or the turnovers. It was simply his injury history. He couldn't stay healthy.
I think they also. I think they had a thought.
I believe that.
I think they had a thought about what they thought Trey Lance could do, given his athleticism. Well, his athleticism would be off the charts compared to Jimmy G, right?
Well, it was between Trey Lance and Mac Jones, which those are two opposites. It was between Mac Jones and Trey Lance.
They went with the guy that could be a great passing Lamar Jackson.
Right.
Trey Lance.
But he was a significant.
But he had no experience. That's the thing. He had no experience.
So, I think he's played 7 football games in 3 years or something like that, which is ridiculous. So they took a huge gamble, and now it looks like Brock Purdy may have the starting job when healthy.
Yes, he's healthy.
But the problem is, though, they need to start Trey Lance because they moved 3 first-round picks to get him.
Well, my thought is they're going to go with Trey Lance and Purdy. That's going to be, and Jimmy G is going to go sign a $30 million a year contract with somebody else. I think probably the Raiders.
I agree with you, but
I mean, the Raiders will be getting a good deal if they can get him for 25 or 30 million. Right. And he fit right into McDaniel's scheme. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what backs up my point, right? With Jimmy G, before they drafted Trey Lance in 2021, he had 1 healthy season, and that was the Super Bowl season. Before then, he played the 5 games at the end of the year. He went 5-0. Then he went 1-2 the following year, and then went 3-3 in 2020 after the Super Bowl year. And then they drafted Trey Lance. So he wasn't healthy. He was healthy for 1 year.
But the year that they made it to the NFC Championship against the Rams.
Which was 2021. He went 9-6.
And so he's played 15 games.
Right. But what I'm saying is that the reason why they even drafted Trey Lance, because they drafted him April of 2021.
He was there. Lance was there when Garoppolo.
Yes, that was his rookie year. Yeah. So, I mean, in his healthy year, he threw for almost 4,000 yards, almost 30 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions.
It's very good.
That's a good season right there. I'm not saying that's a great season. That is a good season. 4,000 yards, 27 touchdowns, almost 70% completion percentage. That's the big number right there. That's the difference between him and Trey Lance. Trey Lance is averaging about, 52%?
I don't think there's not enough sample size on Trey Lance to make any kind of a judgment.
Hey,
he hasn't played enough.
Do you really think? Because we saw a very small...
he didn't play that well in the they let him play a lot in the preseason just to get some experience. He didn't play that well.
Well, we're taking a look at, the first game Brock Purdy came in. Everyone was saying, who the hell is this guy? Trey Lance is in here. We're saying, okay, let's see what he can do. We sat here. He had 1 great throw. That was like an 80-yard touchdown. But besides that, he's been inaccurate. And we're talking about, 2 games here. The first game Brock Purdy was in, we thought he was dealing. So, we're talking about the sample. I agree with you. There's a tiny, tiny sample size with Trey Lance. But we compare it to the guy who was right behind him, or I think actually right in front of him in Brock Purdy. And now in retrospect, he played 7-8 games, and now we're saying, he has an 8-game sample size. But we're talking about the first.
He was undefeated.
We're talking about the first 2 games here.
He was undefeated until the Super Bowl, until the NFC Championship game. And then he got hurt. They might have won that game. You don't know.
May have. But what I'm saying is that we're talking about the sample size, and I agree with you. There is a tiny sample size with Trey Lance. But in comparison to Brock Purdy's first, 2 games? Let's say 2 games. Brock Purdy looked better than Trey Lance. And we're saying, CMC wasn't on the team. But yet, you don't give the same excuse for Jimmy G when he didn't have CMC and played, what people think is poorly. Then CMC comes on the team, and actually Jimmy G is the one that started off that 10-game winning streak. Jimmy G was there for 4 games before Brock Purdy took over when Jimmy G broke his ankle. So, we got to put some context here. We can't say, Trey Lance didn't have CMC, but Brock Purdy did. But then don't acknowledge that Brock Purdy had CMC for his entire tenure as a starting quarterback, and Jimmy G had him for 3-4 games. So that's all I'm going to say about that situation, because I think it is. I think it's a little bit unfair to it's unfair for all parties. Brock Purdy's, first of all, we got to stop calling Brock Purdy now Mr. Irrelevant. I don't think he's that anymore. I think he made himself very, very relevant.
I think he's considered a starting quarterback in the NFL now.
I would 100% agree with you, because he's earned that right, I definitely would say.
I think he played very well. Right. I think he played very well. He did what the offense called for. His stats were good. He seems like a very good team player. Very enthusiastic guy. When they make a great play, he's jumping all around. So I like the guy. I think he's a stand-up guy. And he's only a rookie. Look what he did as a rookie. Pretty impressive.
I do think it is very impressive. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.